This section is a continuation of multiplying polynomials. So in this chapter, we will be finding special products of polynomials. And you can see I have two patterns listed there. They're called the square of a binomial. Actually, you might find it might be easier for you to not have these memorized and just to work out the problems using what you know about the FOIL method. So I'm going to go immediately into an example. And I'll show you how to do it using the pattern and how to do it using FOIL. For example, if you have something like x plus 3 squared. So the first thing I want to point out is that if you solve this and you end up getting x squared plus 3 squared, which gives you x squared plus 9, unfortunately that is wrong. So make sure that you do not do that. So actually, the two ways that you can solve this are either by using the above method, which is the formula, and also by using the FOIL method. So I'm going to start by using the above method. In this one, we know that our A is x and our B is 3. So then if you use the formula, which is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, you will substitute in, you get x squared, you will get 2 times x times 3 plus b squared, so 3 squared. Your final answer will end up being x squared plus 6x plus 9. So that way it will work. If you are really good at memorizing formulas, I would say do it that way. If you're not so good and you think you'll forget that, the other method to use on this one is using the FOIL method. So what you would do for that one is you would first rewrite this as x plus 3 times x plus 3. From there, you're actually going to do what you did in the previous chapter with FOIL. So you start by doing x times x, that gives you x squared. You then will do x times 3, which gives you plus 3x. You keep on going, do the same thing. You do 3 times x, you get plus 3x again. And then you would do 3 times 3, which is 9, so you would get plus 9. Your final answer is actually going to be the same as what we had before. You would end up getting x squared plus 6x plus 9. So you'll get the same answer both ways. So you don't really need to have these formulas memorized, but it's a good idea to recognize them so that when we start factoring, you will be able to factor these easily. So here's two more problems. If you would like, you can go ahead and try it on your own. Otherwise, you can just watch as I do them. So for the first one, use either method. It's your decision how you want to do it. So I am going to do it using both, actually. So my A is 2x, my B is 5. So I'm going to get 2x, and I square it. Then I have minus 2 times 2x times 5, then I have plus 5 squared. That is going to give me 4x squared minus 20x plus 25. So that's my first method. Second method is the FOIL method, and that is to rewrite it as 2x minus 5 times 2x minus 5. That will give me, I do 2x times 2x, that gives me 4x squared. Make sure that when you do it, you do make it x squared. Then I have 2x times minus 5, that gives me minus 10x. Then I have minus 5 times 2x, that gives me minus 10x again. The last thing I do is negative 5 times negative 5, that gives me positive 25. So my final answer is the exact same thing. It is your decision how you want to work these problems out. Next problem is similar. I will show you both ways again. So you can either say that a is 3x, b is y. You get 3x squared minus 2 times 3x times y. And then it's going to be plus y squared. That gives us 9x squared minus 6xy. By the way, when you have an x and a y, it's a good idea to put them in alphabetical order if they're next to each other. That's just a convention that we usually use in math. Then we have plus y squared. Other way to do it is the FOIL method. You will get 3x minus y times 3x minus y. That gives you 9x squared minus 3xy minus 3xy plus y squared. In the end, your answer will be the exact same thing. So whatever method works better for you is fine with me. So our next pattern has to do with when you have a sum and a difference of the same two things. And your answer ends up being what we call a difference of squares, because you have one thing squared minus another thing squared. So let's go again with another example, and I'll show you how you can do it. So let's say we have x plus 2 times x minus 2. You'll notice that in order to use this format, you have to have the same exact thing in both parentheses, but just a different sign. So you're going to have one being added, one being subtracted. In this case, your a is x and your b is 2. So what you're going to do is all you need to do in order to use this pattern is you just rewrite it as x squared minus 2 squared. You end up getting x squared minus 4. This formula actually is really useful to know. It'll help you go quickly on these problems. You don't really need to memorize it as a formula, but just be able to recognize it. So now you can also do it using the FOIL method. And when you do that, you will end up getting the same answer. So starting with x times x, that gives you x squared. Next thing you have is x times minus 2, that gives you minus 2x. Next thing you have is 2 times x, that gives you plus 2x. The last thing is 2 times negative 2, that gives you minus 4. So you'll notice you have negative 2x plus 2x. Those will cancel out, and you will get x squared minus 4. Same answer as before. So I'm going to give you one more I would like you to just try on your own, and that's actually the last problem of the video. So the last one I have is 3x minus 8 times 3x plus 8. Go ahead and try it. You can use either method. So if you worked it out, the first method, you would say, okay, we know that a equals 3x and we know that b is 8. You would just do 3x squared minus 8 squared, which would give you 9x squared minus 64. The other way to do it is FOIL method. And when you do the FOIL method, you will get the same answer. So you start with 3x times 3x, that gives you 9x squared. Then you do plus 8 times 3x, that gives you plus 24x. Then you get minus 24x. Then you end up getting minus 64. So same answer, 9x squared minus 64.